Hey guys, Tony Big Blind here, back with another video. This time, we're going to be going over how to crush the AI. First, I'll be giving you the deck that I like to use in order to beat the AI as quickly and reliably as possible. Then I'll be going in-game in order to show you how to play the deck and some quirks and tips and tricks on how to specifically beat the AI. And then I'll be doing a time-lapse of a best of 5, me using this deck against the AI and timing all of them to see how fast this deck really is at beating the AI. Alright, first, let's jump right into the deck. This is going to be a Dungeon Master primary, Monsters' Rights Association secondary, and this deck was very easy to construct. Basically, all I did was look at the attack numbers of the low-cost creatures, and any high attack numbers got put in the deck. We use Dungeon Master because it's a permanent creature on the board that we can use to bait one of Mulligan's attackers with to hopefully get more than 1 damage off with some of our other units. So first, let's look at our Dungeon Master. We use Zarothrix. And the reason we use Zarothrix is because we can attack with him every turn while getting his passive benefit of Mastery 1. We're never going to be getting more than Mastery 1. We only played 9 spells in the deck. Like, maybe if you're crazy you'll get more, but like, you shouldn't ever get more than Mastery 1. But 1 extra damage with a couple of the damaging spells we play in this deck is the best you're going to get out of the Dungeon Master that we play. And for 0 costs, we do play 3 copies of Gunhaunt's Call. What this card does is it takes all of your mana away and summons a Desperado. Its attack is equal to the amount of mana that you spent on Gunhaunt's Call, and its health is always 1. It has ranged, so it attacks first, but it's really just here because if you have nothing else in your hand, or if you have nothing else worth playing, this will give you attack equal to your mana cost, which is what we're looking for with this deck. Either attack equal to or above the mana cost that we use for it. So now looking at the 1-drops, we play 3 Skywatcher Sentry, because it has 2 attack and flight. We play 3 Dungeon Instigators, because it has 2 attack. We play 1 Trapjaw Stump, just because it's our 10th Monsters' Rights card, and there's nothing better. Dungeon Master for 1 cost, it really, because of the taunt and it has 2 health. And we play 3 Moose Calf, because it has ranged, and maybe you can get it the Death Blow ability because it's against Mulligan, who's very simple to read. We also play 3 Dark Matter Blasts, as it's just 3 damage, but 4 because of Zarothrix, for 1 mana, which is really good. That's all the 1 costs that we have in the deck. Let's look now at the 2-drops. We have 2 Adept Gunsmith. It has 2 attack, but there's just better cards to play. That's why we only run 2. Then we play 3 Local Gravekeeper. It also is just 2 mana, 2 attack. We don't really care about the other effects. And we play 3 Eager Farmer. 2 mana, 3 attack. So, very good. And we play 3 Bone Brute for 2 attack, 2 mana. But if you play a spell, it gains 1 more attack and amped for the turn. So you can attack with this the first turn it comes out, or you can give it 3 attack. So you need to run 3 of them. If you haven't noticed yet, this is a super aggro deck in order to just try to crush Mulligan as fast as possible. We also play 3 Dreadful Drain. It's just a 2-cost spell, 2 damage, 3 damage with Zarothrix. It's fine. We don't want to play Call of the Old God here because it's just putting more spells into our deck, which we don't really want. We really want the creatures because they can attack every turn instead of being a one-time effect. So actually, maybe I should swap out 1 Adept Gunsmith for 1 Dreadful Drain, but I'll worry about that later. For 3 drops, we play 3 Restless Spirit because it has 3 attack and flight, so it can stick around longer usually. Mulligan doesn't play a whole lot of range. We play 3 Cautious Hunting Party because it's basically 3 mana for 4 attack, and they have ranged, so they might stick around longer. And we play 3 Energized Elemental to wrap out the 10 Monsters' Rights cards, because it's 3 mana for 4 attack and amped, and when it dies it deals 2 damage to Mulligan. That's the deck in a nutshell. It's very simple. We just play every card that is low cost, that has equal to or more attack than it costs mana. So now that we have the deck out of the way, let's hop in game so I can explain how to play the deck and beat Mulligan. Alright, now that we're in the game, let me show you how to play the deck and how to beat Mulligan with it. Alright, first let's talk about the Mulligan phase of the game. You're pretty much never going to want to redraw with this hand. You just never do it. Just like in a lot of decks, this is good enough to play. You know, we got an Energized Elemental, we got a Cautious Hunting Party, we have a turn 1 play, a turn 2 play, a turn 3 play, a spell. This is a good enough hand to click accept with. Fortunately, we get to go first. We only have 1 card in our hand, so let's play it. And you always want to attack with the Dungeon Master every turn. Every turn you're going to push with your Dungeon Master. Our health, we don't even care about it. He can do as much damage to us as we want. Even if he's got multiple creatures on the board, we're going to still push, because if we have something for 2 damage to the right of it, he will block the thing that's on the left first. Mulligan will always block from left to right, which will be shown later. These are both the same attack, with Adept Gunsmith and Skywatcher Sentry, both having 2. I'm just going to use the higher cost one, because why not? And we always attack with the Dungeon Master. And we're going to prioritize the Energized Elemental, which has 4 attack and amp, so it can attack the turn it's played. You always want to summon the higher attack cards on the right, for the same reason I said earlier. It will be a perfect demonstration here. Let's just put down some more stuff. 2 cost for 3 attack. Doesn't matter where this guy goes, he has taunt, so Mulligan will have to block him first. And it doesn't matter where the flight goes, because usually Mulligan can't block flight. So now in this example, any normal player would block the Energized Elemental because it has 4 attack, but Mulligan always blocks from left to right, so he will be forced to block my Zarothrix first, which is why we put our higher attack creatures on the right, so that they do damage every time. A poison bomb for us is very unfortunate, but I don't think it'll matter very much. I think we are very close to winning without it. We're just going to play that spell. We're not going to put any creatures down because of the poison bomb. Just going to full push. And I didn't do the math, but hopefully that gets us close. And it looks like that's going to get us within range, so that when Energized Elemental dies, it does 2 damage. And that was an example game with the deck. Main things to keep in mind: Mulligan will block from left to right, so summon your high attack creatures on the right, summon your ranged creatures on the left, so that you can get free trades with those creatures. Always push with all of your creatures, even your Zarothrix, because you don't care about your own HP. You will 99% of the time be beating Mulligan before he can beat you, so it doesn't matter. Make sure to prioritize creatures over spells, because they stick around on the board rather than being a one-time effect, but spells are quicker if you know you're gonna use it to win that turn. So prioritize creatures over spells for the early and mid game, and then late game when you're about to win that turn, play all your damaging spells in your hand. And the last thing to keep in mind is try to spend all of your mana, or try to spend it in a way to get the highest attack units on the board, or to get the most attack on the board per turn. That's really what you want to be thinking about. How much attack can I get on the board with all of my mana per turn? So now that we're done with the example game, let's move over into the time lapse. Alright, in this section of the video, we're going to be looking at the 5 games that I played against Mulligan with my deck. I'm going to be speeding through them because there's not much to look at. I don't want to look at these games too closely, just looking to see generally how fast we can get it done with this deck. This first game we got pretty unlucky. Mulligan played a Poison Bomb turn 4. You always hate to see it. So we gotta build our board back up on turn 6, and then we're able to get the win by turn 7. Game 2 was a much different story. We got an Eager Farmer turn 2 into the Energized Elemental on turn 3. And that combo alone will just lead to a very quick win, especially when Mulligan's playing spells instead of creatures. Excuse me. And we finish it by turn 5. Game 3, here we go. Mulligan's just playing all the creatures in the book. We can't get any damage off. And he plays a Fireball on turn 4. Very unfortunate to see yet again. But we're just going to keep building our board back up and swinging with everything that we got. Now there were a couple misplays here. I believe that this is the game where we are 1 HP short of getting the win because of bad placement on my part. But we're able to get the win there. Game 4. This is also a pretty good game if I remember correctly. Again with the Eager Farmer and Energized Elemental combo to absolutely roll through Mulligan. And we're able to pick this game up on turn 5, and now on to game 5. This one I believe was the most unfortunate one of them all. Mulligan's just summoning every creature, plays a Poison Bomb on turn 4, and we've only gotten him down to 13. He just keeps summoning more and more creatures, which is really awful for us. But we just gotta keep pushing through. And we'll finish it off turn 7. And for the final bonus game, if you enjoyed the content that you saw today, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more. And if you have any other cool ideas that you want to see me do, make sure to leave it in the comments down below. And as we win on turn 5 here, have a good one.